Hello and welcome to a Tyrrell's Classic Workshop with a twist. This time we're looking at a car that we restored a couple of years ago for a customer who is delighted with the car, and that culminated in a road test on a racetrack, would you believe, a private session on a racetrack during which the car performed faultlessly. But before we get ahead of ourselves, the good news is that is one of the cars that is actually going to be on our stand at the National Exhibition Centre Classic Car Show in Birmingham between the 7th and the 9th of November. That very car, and you can see that car in the flesh, the beautifully restored Ferrari F40 on our stand, Iain Tyrrell Classic Cars in Hall 1 at the NEC. And also the organisers have organised a special ticket discount system. If you use the code IAIN2, IAIN2, you will get £2 off every ticket bought. So let's do a recap on that journey of restoring that Ferrari F40. We've got the most amazing canvas to work from with this car because it's very low ownership history. It's done just over 20,000 kilometres from new, which is documented. And the car needs a very sympathetic restoration, which is actually why we've got the job. Well, to go back to my earlier word about sympathetic, this is our ethos here. This is our philosophy, to try and restore original where we can, rather than just throw new parts and resources at things, because there's something wonderfully satisfying about bringing an original interior or whatever it is back to life and making it lovely again. And this is an example. This is a very interesting material. It's like a motorsport weave fabric that's used in racing car seats quite a lot, but it's beautifully done by Italian artisans. Yes, it's grubby in places, but we can clean this up. This will be absolutely fine. The padding is still good. It's the integrity of the seat is very good. So we're actually just going to clean these up. Craig will do a wonderful job of bringing these back to life and making them look as close to new as we possibly can again. Well, another intriguing aspect of these cars is this particular area here. The interesting bit is this access panel. Ferrari got it right with this, the 288 GTO and this, in that you can remove this panel and you've got access to the cam belts particularly, which should be changed quite regularly, once every 3 years or so. And as can be seen, we are going to be doing some detailing on the engine compartment, but this is all lovely. It's beautifully original. All the finish is still, all these beautiful cadmium plated bolts still in place. Again, less is more with this. We're going for a sympathetic job rather than a tearing it out and starting again. We've done a cylinder leak down test on the engine. We've checked all the cylinders are holding pressure and they are all beautiful in that respect. So we will not touch the engine. The head gaskets are fine. So that's the basis on which we're going to start restoring the car. We will change the cam belts and the tensioners, check everything, the water pump, the air conditioning compressor, every pulley and bearing on the front of this engine we're going to check to make sure that it's as it should be. Well, Tony, thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure to see you as always. So you've come to help us with this F40. Keep us in check.
We've come to have a look just to, the owner is known to us, and we just want to make sure it's such a good original example, but they're 30 years old now. You never see an F40 with a paint chip on it or anything like that. So they've all had plenty of paint, and we're trying to recreate how did it come out of the factory. Well, when they came out of the factory, they had plenty of overspray, whiskers on the weave and things like this, which most of the cars were corrected over the period because people couldn't live with that. So it's good to see an original car, but it has had some paint.
Yes.
And there's some sinkage that's where the foam underneath has degraded. So hopefully we can, or you can put that right.
Yeah. So, well, Ryan's, we're obviously, part of your visit is to keep us on the straight and narrow and sort of make sure that we're doing the best job we possibly can for the customer. But things like, as you rightly say, things like there's some bubbles in this area here where it's effectively delaminating, basically.
Yeah.
And we can attend to that. Okay, so we'll start with the front. Let's just have a shufty under here. We have actually just recently done the front suspension. And we've left the original stenciling on, which is obviously market different, isn't it, basically?
Yes, they have different stencil for the European cars or the American market. This one has still got the stencils on, very faintly, which shows its originality. This is nice, original. Any car that's had an incident and that had this replaced, they're very, very shiny. And it's very difficult for them to actually get the chassis number appearing in the centre of the cutout. Everything else with the markings on the clam here, and it's nicely faded. There's bits of overspray in here, which I know the car has had paint originally, but paint did come into the underside through the vents. Body number located under here, which obviously you would have to check on the door hinges and on the rear wing.
Yes.
And the rear underbalance where the fog lamp is to make sure the body numbers all match. But it looks a very, very original car to me.
Yeah, and you were commenting on this, and the reason why this number isn't always smack bang in the middle like that is obviously if the car's had a knock, the chassis moves. Well, that's part of the chassis, and it's not straightened effectively bang on, is it?
Well, and also I think it's probably more to do with this new panel in here where they just can't get it to sit straight.
Okay. Yes.
And you can see the nice green bonding in here. Any car that's had a new piece, this bonding or this green here becomes a much, much brighter green, which is a good giveaway for the fact that it's not original.
Right. Okay.
And the same follows through in the cockpit where the green is shown.
Yes. And this is it's an original Sigler windscreen.
Yeah. Although it's a replacement windscreen, if you look across a windscreen, you can see there's absolutely no marks in that at all.
Yes.
And at 22,000 kilometres for this car, you'd expect some, as the Americans call it, road rash.
Yes, absolutely. Or even the odd scrape from the wiper blades.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, should we have a look round the business end of things?
Yes. Okay.
It never ceases to amaze me how heavy these are.
Well, yes, many years ago I could do it on my own, but
there we go.
Okay. For safety's sake, we always recommend putting a much more solid prop in there as opposed to the one that bends in the middle. I have seen them where they've just collapsed. So it's always wise to put a big...
Yes, that is all right.
Yeah, that's
just double checking.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's just a very, very original car. A lot of cars have had the subframes painted, but this is just very, very clean. Nice wear on these, and if you're going to do anything to it, it just needs a good detailing as opposed to cosmetic paintwork, really.
Yeah. These are original.
Yeah.
Being an early car.
An early car, a non-cat car.
Yeah.
Original exhaust system, which is nicely patinated. Okay, you can clean the tips up here, but which is all very good. Yeah.
We're very much towards the sympathetic end of the scale with this, because it's one thing that we've determined is that we're pretty sure we're going to have to take the paint off it because it's quite thick, the paint on
Yes,
the
it is. Yeah.
But I mean, it's lovely because it's such a great canvas to work from. The wheel alignment was drastically out on the back wheels. Mm-hmm. And you said they did a factory modification?
Well, there was a factory recall on the suspension forks, bolts and washers. So if someone has put that back up and not tracked the car, then just needs to be double checked.
Yeah, it is miles out, actually.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I can't imagine, with that width of tyre, if the geometry's that far out, I can only imagine how twitchy this would be if you started driving it in anger.
Yeah. And you can tell this is a good original rear clam where all the paint's come off around the window. Even on cars that have done lower mileage, that paint has tended to flake off with the heat. And there are two schools of thought whether you put the paint back on or leave it. I'd be inclined to leave it. That is for originality's sake as opposed to cosmetic sake. If you're going to enter the car into a Concorde to get 100 points, then you probably, well, you would have to do that. But in my opinion, I think it's best left as it is so that the client can see exactly what he's got. If he comes to sell it, then the new owner can make the decision whether he does that. Yeah. But I think originality today counts for all. There are a lot of F40s out there that have seen incidents, and this is a car that I think is a very, very honest, good car.
Yeah, it was a wise purchase.
I think so. Yeah, the mileage, 22,000 kilometres, which is what, 13,000 miles, is good mileage. You could use it without losing value. So yes, I think it's a good car. But like most F40s, they have had paint, and when they've had substantial paint, in terms of paint thickness, you lose the weave effect, and weave seems to be the most important thing that people are looking for.
Yes. I notice, obviously, we love Ferraris, so this is not a criticism. We love Ferraris passionately, but bits like this red overspray here.
Well, the overspray was standard on the car. The paint used to come in through the ducts here, and when they were new and people took delivery of them, not everybody was happy seeing overspray on the car or whiskers like this coming off the carbon, so they were tidied up and cleaned up.
Very rough edge
there. But, it's a very agricultural built car. It's a very, very basic car, effectively a racing car for the road. Racing cars had a very thin coat of paint, and they didn't bother about things like this.
Yeah, there's so much of this car that is lovely. The dashboard is all in good condition.
Yeah, all original with the nice grey flannel in there.
Yeah. Well, Tony, thank you very much for coming up all this way. It's much appreciated.
Well, it's always good to come here, Iain, because although my main interest is with Ferrari, there are other cars in my life, and looking at Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, and is always a pleasure. So love going to places like this where there are so many good cars and interesting and enthusiastic people looking after them.
That's well from you. That's I'll take that.
Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. Here I am with Ryan at Cheshire Prestige Paintworks, who is going to be grappling with the F40, but winning, I think it's fair to say.
Yep.
Tony Willis, who is super knowledgeable on the history and the detail of these cars. He confirmed what we already hoped for and sort of knew, and that was that this is basically an excellent car. It's a wonderful canvas to start from, because it's never been any serious accidents.
No.
But you have ascertained that it's had one or two blow-ins in one or two places over the years, which localised repairs, etc.
Yeah, the car's never had a full repaint. It's all factory paint that's been tidied up and blended. There's been a few local repairs on the rear quarter, up the spoiler area there, lower down where the heavy traffic is and the stone chips are, those type of areas really. Front lower half of the clam.
The little bimps on the bonnet.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain again, using your trusty bit of Ferrari F40 wing?
Yeah.
So we've got this, did you say this was aluminium?
Yes, this is aluminium honeycomb. We've got a carbon Kevlar layer at the back.
Yeah, very thin.
Yeah. Then an aluminium honeycomb sandwich, and then carbon Kevlar top.
Right. So when the bumps appear, what causes that basically? What's happened?
In terms of on the top of the clam.
Yeah.
So it's either heat. So the carbon fibre at this point is delaminated from the aluminium honeycomb.
Right. Yeah.
So it's heat either from top or above, either from the top or below.
Right. Well,
I've got a feeling it's from below.
And I think I know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Brakes.
Yeah. I think it's been used hard at some point.
Yeah.
Brakes haven't been left to cool. i.e. they've ran it round the track,
Yes.
cool off brake. I think they've come in hot at some point and it stood hot.
Right. The thing that this car yells is originality.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Even if it has been used on track days, they've driven it properly and they've treated it properly.
Yeah. There's no damage in terms of crash damage anywhere on the car.
Which is extremely unusual
Yeah,
for an F40.
I can imagine. There's just marks and dents and little scrapes and chips.
Obviously, round the back window, this was an area where Tony talked about this sort of sealant that seals the back window on. It's too scruffy, you know. Everything's patina versus restoration.
If we weren't taking this out, I would have agreed with Tony fully and said leave it with the faded stripe. But it actually does a job. The stripe. The stripe's actually a primer for the adhesive to work to bond the screen in. Yeah. Exactly. So we need to reapply. Yeah.
And one thing we're also determined to do is leave the factory overspray on places.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because again, people have removed that over the years because they thought it was a previous paint job or something.
Yes, exactly.
Not knowing it was factory.
No, and then obviously this car's not been painted. It's had the blow-ins as we've found. The overspray is everywhere where it should be. It's mainly through the vents and the knacker ducts. You know, it's through those where you have the overspray.
Everything's in such fabulous condition.
I mean, everything came off the car perfectly. There's not one bit broke. No, it all came apart.
Looking at bits here, you know, we got this. Look at the condition of that. That's the original cadmium plating, which is still fantastic.
Yeah.
And one detail that eagle-eyed Ryan has pointed out while we're here is that this piece of equipment, a side repeater lamp, which is fitted to the F40, comes out of there, also fits a 430 Scuderia, exactly the same item there, and this is from a Fiat Punto. So Ferrari were using Fiat Punto side repeater lights in 1987 right through to the 21st century. That's the fun fact nerdiness of the day. It's looking very red.
Yep.
I presume this is a good thing.
That's what we wanted.
Mind you, we have seen some other F40s that have been creatively changed to other colours over the years. Yeah. But this is, it's looking, joking apart, it's looking absolutely stunning. You've done an amazing job.
It was a really straight car, so there's not been a load of repair work. It just had the little blow-ins here, there and everywhere. Yeah, so it wasn't really a lot for us to address. Loads of chips, loads of little cracks. Found some interesting things out on the car where they've not even prepped them up properly and the paint's flaking off with your nail, which is quite cool.
Right.
Yeah, lots of masking tape left over from the factory.
Now, you mentioned this.
Yeah.
In fact, if we go to the back end,
we can actually... There's one bit there staring at us.
As we're here.
This one?
Right. And that, you reckon that's actually under the gel coat?
It's laminated in, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So in order to get rid of that, you'd have to scrape.
I've got to scrape a bit of the resin off. Yeah, see it here. Yeah, it's actually in part of it.
I mean, how incredible.
Yeah, that's factory masking tape.
But there's also a couple of other bits like that on the car.
Yeah, there's a few.
And you can age it by the fact that it's the texture.
It's gone amber. It's almost, you know.
Yeah,
and
masking tape, if you leave it on it for a long length of time, it's actually very difficult to get off.
Yeah, it goes like concrete, you can't get it off.
But particularly if it's got gel coat sprayed over the top.
Yeah.
What you're doing here is doing a sensitive, I mean, there are plenty of people who would say, well, get rid of that, and that.
It's really hard, you have to back off a lot.
Exactly.
And just leave, like, the overspray on the clamshells that everyone knows where it should be, I've had to mask that up on its own, so I keep that there, and then mask it properly as we normally do to paint into, demask, then take that back off to leave the overspray that was there from factory, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so we're not added to it, that's the original overspray that was done in the first place.
And the temptation, I mean, a lot of people restoring an F40, the temptation is them, and we had this conversation with Tony Willis, of course, at the time, is for people to just paint over it and say, oh, that looks awful.
And the other thing is they overpaint them. So you've got a car that's got a lot of factory paint on anyway. So when we were doing this, this whole bottom section here had been double coated. The car itself, so from the swage line up, these quarters, the roof had been double coated, and one door had been double coated from factory. So in the pictures we've sent you, when we've rubbed it all down, you'll see when we were blocking it off, the paintwork, we're trying to get down to sort of almost original factory primer where we're breaking through, hence the pink spots all over. So I know a lot of people, when they have these done, they sort of key up the existing paint and apply more. So then you've got double the thickness, and sometimes, like this one has had double the factory paint in areas, you've got triple the thickness, and people want to see this carbon print back through on the paintwork after they've been painted. So you're not helping the matter by coating over coating over coating, because it's got to go all through all that paint for it to sink back in. So we've blocked off as much as we can back to original factory primer, a couple of light coats of the pink primer that we had matched, and then apply normal coats back on.
Right.
So in theory, it's pretty close to factory paint in terms of its depth.
I'm making assumptions here, but eventually, after you've blocked and prepared this beautifully,
Yep.
eventually it might start sinking back.
It will definitely, yeah. When we had it on baking there at 55, we've not gone to 65, 70 with this, just because we don't want things to happen. But when we baked it at 55, it started pulling in already, and it started let go again. So the car's been left a week and a half now already. By the time, I think, when we flat and polish that, and when you're polishing it, you're applying heat back into the process anyway, we might see some of it start coming through anyway.
Right.
But it might be a full summer period, hot day,
Yes.
outside.
All of a sudden.
You'll get it.
Hello.
It'll be there.
And you were talking about this area here. You reckon? Well, I'll let you explain.
Yeah. So I think because they were doing this type of thing for the first time, there were certain factors that they obviously weren't happy with at the factory, and they've overcoated it. So on these top quarter panels here, these have been overcoated. That came out right first time round by the looks of the pictures we've done.
Right.
What the top of one of the doors had definitely been double coated at the factory.
Right. So what you mean by double coating is they spray the print primer on, then they put the red top coat,
gloss on, yeah.
and then somebody in quality control's gone not happy about that, and they've repainted it at the factory without repriming it.
Yeah, straight on. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that wouldn't have been done at any other time, otherwise.
No, because I can tell when I'm rubbing it down, it's the same product on the rest of the car. So it's coming off the same. You can smell it. It's the same stuff. There was some areas on the clamshell and on the back end, on both corners really, where it had little blow-ins. Those have been base coat and lacquered up. You can tell with that because you get like this white halo around it. But on those items there, those panels there, those have been the same paint, exactly the same as it was done in the rest of the car. It's just they've been overcoated, which tells me they've not been happy with certain aspects of it, and they've coated it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've got, again, we've got the numbers everywhere, haven't we?
Yeah.
Matching.
Yeah.
586, I think it is.
568. Yeah.
So if we look at the likes of this rear clam,
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is a stunning finish. Now, you must be delighted with this.
I'm really happy with how it's come out here.
I mean, do they always come out like this?
Not every job, no. You want them all to come out like this one. Yeah. The less manipulation at the end, flattening and polishing, the better, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously, there's lots of little nooks and crannies on this where you can't get a polisher in. You know, imagine getting your polisher in there and you're flattening down here because there's a bit of dirt
straight
in
through
it.
the paint.
And in these knacker ducts, you know, so you want those as wet and as glossy as possible out the gun.
Yeah. And we've got all the right numbers in all the right places,
On
haven't
that
we?
side there.
There it is.
568.
Yeah, 568.
Yeah.
Right indented in the substrate.
Some factory runs in the pink primer when it's been hung upside down. We've sanded all this back now to put the black coating on. You can see the runs here.
Right, so that would have been upside down.
Upside down, do the black, do under the black under the arches, because we're going to do the same way.
Right, and so those are original Ferrari runs.
Pink
it's almost
primer.
a shame we couldn't leave them in. Really. Or am I being too...
That's probably too far.
Is this a bridge too far, maybe? I
But a lot of people I see online are moaning about these here on other cars. They're really, really poor. in terms of the finish, to a point where a lot of it's hand brushed in.
Really?
Yeah, so obviously this is all nice as it should be now, and painted.
Well, talking of hand brushing in, we noticed some bits on the frame here, didn't we?
Yeah, this has all been hand brushed here.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and there, you see that little brush mark there?
Yes.
Look at that.
Some here.
There.
Again, do we make that perfect, or do we just leave it?
It's difficult, isn't it?
This wasn't really prepared.
This bit on the front edge here, this little panel here, riveted in. No, it was shiny carbon underneath.
So they hadn't keyed it to make the paint
that's why it's heavily stone chipped in that area there, because there was no adhesion.
Right.
Yeah.
It's looking fantastic. It really is. Hopefully we've struck the balance right between this quandary of originality versus
it's hard because you're having to back off a little bit.
Yes.
On certain aspects.
Yes.
Because they want that there, you know.
Well, Ryan, that is absolutely fantastic. You are doing world-class work. You really are.
Thank you, Iain.
Which is what we want. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
We've ended up with a car that is absolutely in a sweet spot in terms of F40s. It's just about right in every way we can conceivably make it right. We haven't cleaned up factory overspray and things like that. It just looks absolutely, and in Tony's and in our opinion, absolutely peachy beautiful, really, in terms of what's been done and what hasn't. The car's back together. We're going to just examine what we've been up to with it recently, and we'll start with Craig's Corner. This definitely does not look like the headlining out of a £2 million car.
No.
Although it actually is.
Yes.
So this is a piece of moulded fiberglass, presumably. Or,
it's.
And what is this? Is this the foam that was disintegrated?
That's sort of the residue of foam that's left over from what that's the backing of the headlining. So you've got, a few bits there left on. So I know it's quite nasty. So we'll take that off and refoam it. 3mm scrim foam will do it, and it'll look nice again.
This is not recoverable, no?
No. No, there is a limit.
The boundaries are... okay, I mean, that is clearly...
I know.
It's just degraded.
Yes, yeah.
Simple. It's age, Anno Domini.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And this is the original material.
Yes, yeah.
And some clever person at Ferrari, or Pininfarina or Scaglietti, whoever it was who made it, actually hasn't even lined up the material properly.
No, as soon as we took it out, because it was obviously because it's on that, you can get a good look at it. So as soon as we put it on the floor, I said, look, it's been trimmed a bit skew with, which it would have been easier to have trimmed it straight because you'd have it on the table. It's another thing if you're doing that.
Yes.
It's another little quirk which we'll replicate.
We'll put it back.
Yes, yeah.
Well, the subject of bladder tanks and fuel tanks in F40s is a very, very interesting one. When they were new, they were, as usual for the US, they were quite different. But the whole fuel system was re-engineered and quite different for the US. The breathing system around the tanks, etc. But also, most importantly, what the tanks were made of. They were actually aluminium or aluminum for the American market right from the get-go, from the factory. And I suspect that bladder tanks like this are not street legal in the US, even though they are safer than aluminium tanks. Obviously, if the car has a serious accident, it wraps itself around a lamppost or something, or somebody T-bones it very badly just behind the door, it's going to go right into the fuel tank if it's deep enough. And the whole point about the bladder tanks is they will absorb the impact, he says, smashing his his watch. I'll do that again, like that. There is some give in them. With an aluminium tank, there is no give. It bends at best, a seam breaks, it cracks, the fuel leak pours out, and before you know it, you've got a fire on your hands, as well as everything else that's happened to the car and the occupants. So They were a safety-related item. For whatever reason, they were not fitted, as I say, in the US cars. The whole fuel system was re-engineered. It's actually quite interesting how much of it is different for American spec F40s. But the rest of the world had these. This is an original bladder tank that we've got here off an F40. So this is how they came from the factory. It's a rubberized material, aerospace technology. We move on to these. These are the tanks that came out of this car. They're made in Britain, and these are a different material. They're I don't know exactly what the construction is, but in fact, I'm sure we should find out, Kevlar or something. But they are, again, they will suffer an impact and crush. But the funny thing is, we come onto the subject of insurance, because if you put bag tanks in an American spec car for safety, they won't be. The car will probably be not insured, point blank. And if you put aluminium tanks in a rest of world spec car, you will probably not be insured either. Your insurance will be invalid. And lots of people in Europe have retrofitted aluminium tanks to F40s because it's a fit and forget situation largely. Marcus has fitted the new bag tanks that have arrived into their fiberglass carcass that they sit in. So the fuel system is now, we've replaced one other fuel pipe on the engine which was weeping slightly. So the fuel system is all up and running now with its new tanks. The original Ferrari life for these tanks was 10 years. That was what they would underwrite them to. These tanks are 5 years, would you believe? You have to if you want to keep the certification exactly up to full insurable standard, then these need to be changed in 5 years' time. Crazy, but true. These are the seats out of the F40, and these are the original seats,
yes.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Original material. It's a funny material, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and obviously they're really lightweight, aren't they? There's
Yes.
nothing. There's no weight in them at all. But they were just grubby, weren't they? And there was some water damage, and there was bits of grease as well on areas, but I didn't want to go too aggressive
Yes.
on it, obviously. So there's a couple of bits that I'm going to go again at,
Yep.
just small marks, but compared to what they were like, they were really stained,
Yes.
and they just seem to have come up, and they look really vibrant. But yeah, there's little bits here and there. But like I said, you don't want to. You sort of go in at it, clean it up, and then you sort of back off a bit.
I mean, they look, considering they're 35 years old.
Yes, yeah.
36 years old. They look fantastic, really. You've done a lovely job of bringing them
you.
back. And we did take some photographs beforehand, so we can see that. They're ready to. You can have another go at these bits, but
Yes.
otherwise they're ready to go back
Yes,
in.
they are. Yeah. They're worlds apart from what they look like before, really.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I said, you don't want to go too crazy. Just
No.
trying to clean the living daylights out of them,
Exactly.
really. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And you've also done the headlining super quick as
Yes.
well. There it
So
is.
there's-
Look at that. Yeah. And these are the contours.
Yeah.
And you can feel the scrim foam underneath. Is that
Yes, it
3
is.
millimeters, isn't
3
it?
mil, yeah. So the trick was trying to get the holes for the sun visors to match up. So as soon as you got that bit right, you could sort of go, but you couldn't pull it too much because these bits they'd stretched, over time. So
Yes.
they still had to hit those points, really,
Yes.
even though there was no holes or anything. They still had to sort of match up with that. Otherwise, you got sort of like a bit of a baggy feeling to it. But you also couldn't stretch it too much because you don't want it fighting with the foam and coming off.
So this is ready to go back together, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and also it would have been a bit of a fight as well to try and straighten it up as well,
Yes.
'Cause, yeah, it would. Yeah. So.
But it would have taken
yes.
away from the originality.
Yes. So yes. Yeah. Even. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
mad, isn't
Yes,
it?
I know.
really?
Yeah.
So there it is. This is all looking fastidiously as it should do. What we did notice with these was that obviously the air coming through the intercoolers has got to be able to circulate freely through them. And a lot of these veins are dreadfully sensitive and easily bendable. If somebody leans on that while they're working on the engine, they can bend all these and stop they can actually effectively shut off the channels that these, the thousands of channels that these make up, and you can actually have a localized hotspot where the air is not able to flow through. So we've meticulously straightened these with a tiny, tiny tool just to get the air to be able to come through them. So there it is. It's all in apple pie order now. It really is. We're looking forward very much to getting this out and about and testing it. The fuel tanks go behind these panels here on each side, and the cooling system, we've noticed that the thermostat is behaving erratically on the cooling system. Sometimes it's over opening, sometimes it's not opening enough, not enough to cause a problem with overheating. But the other thing we have also noticed is that the radiator on the front, the electric switch that controls the cooler motors on the radiator, the cooling fans, is not working. It's open circuit instead of switching between open and closed circuit to trigger the fans. So we need to sort that out, replace that. But otherwise, this car is now in fantastic shape, and it looks great, and it should go great too.